This is your daily market review for Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trade Engine, and this is your daily market review for Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. Interesting day in the market. Did not expect as much down as we got today, but either way, I'm not unhappy about it. Yeah, we expected the up move to get sold at some point, just thought it might be tomorrow. Well, guess what? This is why you trade the ranges, you trade around your positions, and you also layer in, layer out. It was actually a bull day in the almanac. Again, agree. Eric was looking at the almanac, and it's typically bullish this week, and today's action was not so much. It's not looking like a pop and chop. It's looking more like a gap and trap. So in that case, well, what do you do next? That's why you watch this recap. It's why you stick around, you hang out, you pay attention to this channel, and you just do the best you can. Again, trading isn't a certainty game. It's a probability game. And the best thing you can do is trade around the probabilities and execute like a computer, essentially. Your goal is to take the emotions out of it and do the best you can with the knowledge you have and the information that you see. If you overthink it, guess what? You fail. So that's typically how it goes. Again, the market's meant to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. A sucker and their money will always be parted. Again, check out the Discord room, link description below if you want to get involved. If you'd like to connect, use the Calendly link. I would love to chat with you. Let's take 30 minutes to talk about what your goals are, what you need from trading. If you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, let me know. I would love to help out. There's tons of people who have questions, who just sometimes don't know where to start, whether it's in real estate, buying, selling, investing, or they want to trade. And again, when I say trade, more like invest. Again, I don't highly recommend day trading for new folks, but hey, do the best you can. So on that note, let's get into some more information. Again, follow, like, hit the subscribe button on Twitter, YouTube. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, notification bell. You know the deal. If you'd like to support the channel, drop a thanks or donate, link in the description below. I appreciate all the love. Tons of education. Also on the website. Tons of stuff going on. Trying to get this to refresh. Paying Fiverr, folks. And it seems like it's not going so hot. If someone is a very good web developer who understands our Vada platform, hit me up. I'd love to, again, I'd love to get a few things going on this. Add more blogs. Get some stuff. But again, it just kind of is what it is. Again, the website's great. Again, great information. The blogs, post. There's some down here. Unlock again. If you're not familiar with an S block, ooh, check it out. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. CME futures just continues to refresh it. Doesn't look like there's a cut coming. Period. End of story. Not coming end of the month. Bitcoin, this is not what you wanted if you're a bull. You didn't want to get up to the range highs and then back off. Right? Yikes. That's, again, doesn't necessarily mean it's game over, but that's an engulfing bar. And typically engulfing bars lead to more lows. So at worst, you're probably coming back down to the 92,000. People don't want to hear that, but hey, that's the truth. Oil, as we've talked about, it's been holding up pretty darn well. Not refreshed, I apologize. Sometimes you think it would. Holding up pretty well off of the lows. Again, you have a very secure low. It's a quintuple bottom. Wait, hold on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You do the math. That's a very good spot to watch, and we seem to hold it. At this point, again, I would expect to retest potentially. Natural gas holding up pretty well. Again, I like natural gas long term. We've talked about this on this channel on record. Again, trade around your positions. I think it could pull back if the market gets swapped. However, I am on record. Talked about this in the Discord room today. Is it possible we're going into that new cycle, which again, where did I put it? Talked about it, but in general, that if money starts flowing out of tech, does it come into the commodity sector and does it hold up? Meaning, does the commodity sector hold up? Again, that's my biggest concern. Again, as a bull, that's what I'd want to be long. And if I'm short, I want to short tech. I'm on record. I'm very consistent about that. Dollar, again, holding up pretty well. XDiv, giving it back. Obviously, you take the money out. Now you're trading here, holding up pretty well. TLT, this is a little dangerous. Talked about it today. If you had to stop out, you stop out, and it's okay. This could end up being a bear trap, but I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you just hold it. No, if you had longs, you got stopped out, and it's okay. It's really okay, and I stopped out. I had a small position I was building, and guess what? I shorted tech, and it worked out way better. Do you see how that works? Just by holding, I would be pissed off and be frustrated. But again, I move my positions. I say, okay, well, what's better? Looking at tech, easy opening, short, boom, boom, baya, booyakasha. VIX, we talked about holding. The VIX was bottoming first. Again, people don't listen to this, but I'm telling you, the VIX always bottoms first. High or low, nice. Got the bounce. Now, again, doesn't mean that we have to like collapse and the VIX screams tomorrow, but it's just interesting because this looks like a gap and trap, right? You hit the range highs. Sorry, not range highs. You hit a range resistance and you back right off. It's a lower high. Now it feels like you should come down to the 100-day. Now, will that happen this week? I don't know. This is what I talk about probability. You're like, oh, tell me what's going to happen. Tell me for certain. I don't give a shit for certain. I just know that stocks move to certain places in time. And if they're in a trading range, they go from range highs to range lows, potentially. And again, you don't have to overthink it, okay? Keep it simple. Don't be a dummy. Q, gap and trap. Fills this gap. That's an engulfing bar. Yikes. And this is a clearly lower high. Yikes. You break the 50-day. Yikes. Again, I think tech is the easiest short out there longer term. People hate hearing it, and that's like makes me even more confident in it. If everyone loves tech, then I want to be shorted at some point, right? Not because I'm a hater, but just in contrarian motion. Like, again, if you look at the valuations of tech, like Apple, then you can't get, the stock hasn't been this expensive in what seems like decades. IWM lagging, again, we'll watch this one. Again, I think IWM just has been portending things to come. It just doesn't look good. DIA, same kind of thing, hasn't looked good, right? Chopping at the range lows. Gold, talked about this one. If money moves into the names, yes. But if there's sell-offs, yes. It's a tough one. It's a tough cookie. Again, I'm not saying that you're going to get baked on this one, speaking of cookies, but it might just not go anywhere. That's where you have to think about trading probabilities of alternative trades. Silver, you got to love the gap up, but then look what happens. Zinger. Hits the range, backs off. Again, we like this stuff long-term, but I want it to get pummeled like it typically does. GDX, look at that candle. Ooh. GDXJ, ooh, hits the 20-day. We talked about it. Said last week, wouldn't be surprised if you bounce to the 20-day after a gap up like this. And there you go. Hit the 20, 200-day, boom. Now you need to get over. If it doesn't, you're coming right back to range lows. You might make new lows. Oh, God forbid. You're just patient and you let it play out. AEM, same kind of thing like that. Wick. DJ. No. AG, same thing. Again, I like these names. It's just I don't want to. It's like risk reward. I'd rather short certain names and then pick these up later. Newmont, yeah, same kind of thing. Pass, same kind of thing. They all look good. Okay, keep an eye on it. So just be safe out there. Taiwan Semi. Here we go. Look at this. Talked about yesterday, gap and trap. Ooh. Looking more like it. Keep an eye on it. We'll see. Micron. Buy the rumor, sell the news. They're going to be in some of these NVIDIA chips. Seems to have held 80s, which we talked about. Welcome to the 80s. Now it looks like again, it could go to range highs in 200-day. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is the one I would short, but I'd be watching the price action. We talked about AMD, right? Due to bounce. Yeah, okay, we'll see what happens here. NVIDIA, you're welcome. People who shorted the range highs, you got the fucking gift from God. I told you guys. Try to explain, like, man, this is the short of 2025. Did we expect a retest? No. I thought 50-day would fail. That's fine. The shit happens. If you short it up here, you're like, okay. You manage your position. We talked about the 100-day. Talked the 50. Okay. Say you didn't have a full position. You reloaded yesterday, today. You can add whatever you want to that sound, what it means. But to me, it's pure joy. Like it's raining. Make it rain money. That candle is a beast. An absolute fucking game over candle, potentially. Now, again, probability based. There's no certainty in trading. But if I had to assign certainty to this candle, I'm going to put call it the 99%er. Let's put right there. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye on it. SMCI, again, I like more downside. I'm telling you, just trade your position, manage it. It's not going to go down. Shorting is hard. It's a little harder than going long, especially in bull markets. Everything can go up, but shorts typically go down faster. You have to trade it at the managed position. Again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. All right, take a breath. SMCI, talked about this. They're cooking their own books. I don't know. I don't trust it. Again, they might not be as bad, and the valuation might make sense, but I don't feel like it's done. intellectual property. Talked about how Intel always leads. Look at yesterday's bar. Ugh. On a day where the market was cooking, this thing got fried. And again, people are like, oh, it's not that big a deal. I'm like, no, but you drop $1 on a day where the Qs were ripping and SMH was on fire. It's not what you want to see. So again, it's acting like a turd burglar. SMH, turd burglar. Look at that. Ugh, Soxus, you bought it under 18 today. Ugh. Sorry, it's just funny to me. Again, did we expect a retest now? But this is why we talk about there are retests. There are retests. It happens a lot. And when it does, you just act accordingly. That's why you layer in, layer out, you know your zones. And then when you get them, you don't freak out. You go, well, that's a gift. We'll see what happens here. And you take the trade and you stop out if you have to. And if it doesn't, stop and it goes in your direction. Hot diggity damn. Adobe. Right? Things you didn't see if the markets were strong. Like Adobe should be ripping. Apple gets a upgrade today, downgrade. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Talked about how this was due to bounce after it goes from 250 or 260 down to 240. You get the bounce. Not much of a bounce. If this is all it's got, yikes. Amazon, again, Bezos seems like he's kissing the ring too. Notice the back test of trend line. This one didn't have a greater reference as short, but if you watch the gap at 227, you may have taken it. Meta put this one on today. Was like, man, buy the rumor, sell the news. I've been talking about this since 1989. No, I'm just kidding. For a couple months now that Zuckerberg is kissing the ring for Trump. And guess what? It made it official. And look what happened. It back tested the old trend line. You double topped. Again, the candle's not as ugly, but watch the 20-day. Pretty simple. CRM, keep it simple. I mean, that's why you watch your levels. Again, we talked about this, the gap and trap. Slowly burning lower. Guggenheim has the chips, the Quantum 2. Today's candle looks like a repeat of what happened last time. Last time you followed up with looks like a almost 10% correction. It's more like 5 or 6, but keep an eye on it. Microsoft, Mr. Softy. I mean, we talked about yesterday's candle. Like, in a bull day, what is that shit? Dewey, you don't want a pot of this. Yeah, you don't want a pot of this short. I don't know about that. That is ugly. You break the bottom lows. See ya. If you know that reference, Dewey Cox walk hard. Dewey, you want none of this. No, I think I actually want some short in NDAQ. We talked about this. I know Joe smashed the top up here at the 1618. We talked about how this exchange has no future pricing power. Ooh, it's priced into perfection. Dewey, you don't want a pot of this. I think I'd like to try me some of that cocaine. No, Dewey. Makes all your bad feelings feel good. Sorry, doing some movie references. MicroStrategy talked about this due to bounce. I still think it comes back down to this 240s level at some point. Today's action, I mean, that's a gap down, y'all. Opens high, closes low. Now, this is the thing. It didn't close below this blue zone, so in my opinion, that would confirm the next leg down. And then I know, again, if you just shorted yesterday, but again, I don't like the idea of shorting MicroStrategy unless you see a candle like this and you saw the retest. Now you're just throwing it up. Because again, I could see us coming back up here if Bitcoin holds up. And if Bitcoin doesn't hold up, then I could see us just making a lower high. Where it is, I don't fucking know. This is why trading can be hard. There's not a clear spot, but now you have a reference of 380s. That's what I would look at. Netflix and Spill, seems like the 20 days have broken. Then once it did, it's been slowly burning. Roblox, let's speed this up. Holding up pretty damn well. Got to give it credit. Pan W, I'm so glad I didn't chase. A lot of people are like, oh, you missed the boat on this. Okay, bird. Well, here you go. Come on back. I like cybersecurity names. Don't get me wrong, but let it pull back. Tesla. Here you go. Talked about this was a big blow off. Said watch the 20-day. Look at this gap down. Again, I'm not saying Tesla has to burn back down to $120, but we talked about this huge up move is going to lead to consolidation and chop. And people get mad at me when I tell you, like, take some profits, watch what happens. You're not going to miss shit. And they go, well, I've missed so many moves. And it's like, yeah, but this is a fucking huge move. So don't be surprised if you actually take some profits and it reloads if it's going to go higher. And if it pulls back, you at least put pennies and dollars in your pocket. People just don't know how to trade. It's so bad. That's why hit me up if you have questions. Insight, again, I think they get bought out. I think that's a simple game. Again, back testing the trend line. Again, I think the stock has upside in time, but let it play out. Palantir, this was a leader, right? Broke the 20-day. We said once the 20-day breaks, and look at today's action. 20-day curling down. I mean, again, I'm not saying short this action today, but it looks like the top is in. McDonald's, this one's been chopping around. Nothing. DKNG, again, I talked about this due to bounce. We talked about it. Hits the 100-day. Still heading lower, in my opinion. It's just not going to be a straight line move. Everyone's like, every day it's got to go down. No, it doesn't. Airbnb, I'm just watching this one for real estate. Seems to have fills this gap. 137 seems to get stuck. Costco, we talked about the 1,000. Headlines were the high. Better hold the 20, 100-day. Talked about a bounce in here, but that is not a very big bounce. Starbucks, leave this one alone. I don't really, this is a big choppy zone. Again, I think it probably heads lower if the economy and things slowing, which they are, but we'll see what happens. FedEx, we talked about the shorts. Shorted up here, took profits into earnings, shorted on the earnings pop. You took profits at some point. You reshorted the blue zone. You're feeling good. Just watch it. Again, this one's a sloppy beast. Trade around. That's why we talk about trading around positions. It's amazing. Caterpillar, look at this baby chop at the 200-day. Ooh, boy, is this reloading to flop? Deer. Talked about this one, buying at the 350s, taking profits up in the 450 plus range. Now you're back at support. We'll see what happens here. If it cuts right through it like butter and a hot knife through butter. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, raggy. Oh, it looks like a trend broke, actually. No, we're right at it. Keep an eye on that. I'm going to remove this one. This one definitely was the channel breakout. Channel low is not as importante, in my opinion. Look at that. Then wow. Anyway, Nucor. This one had a nice oversold bounce yesterday. But again, a lot of this stuff, again, man, you might have some references for long-term bottoms. If they slap these around, whew. Yeah, we like X in the 20s. Again, I think they get bought out. It's just I don't want to pay the premium in the 30s. Vale, this thing has been getting cooked. Arrow, again, we like junior copper. We like baby copper, of course. It has a nice bounce. Man, I'd love to see a retest. Maybe some like head and shoulders where like the head goes down to like in the 11s and 12s. Fava beans. Live with fava beans. CCJ talked about that candle yesterday. Again, things that we don't want to see if you're bullish uranium. Again, I know the prices have been coming down. I personally don't have a desire to short materials, but I do think that you can get downside pricing. And if you do, look to load, but just don't chase. CF, Mosaic. Again, I want to speed this up. They're all kind of looking the same, bopping, chopping. Again, we like them long term, but they just earn big choppy ranges. AA, love this long term. Love aluminum. Just let it pull back. We'd love to see the 28 level. XLF, again, to me, looks like it's getting cooked in time. Got the little baby bounce, which again, not surprised. Said the 20-day, 50-day. That's the watcher. JP Morgan added some more shorts today using the reference. Booyakasha. Looks very simple. Don't overthink it, right? Keep it simple. Stupid, right? Morgan Stanley. Keep an eye on it, right? This looks pretty interesting. Hits the range highs, backs off. Bank of America, right? Same kind of thing. No, not really saying that. This one's been interesting. Again, I apologize. Looped in this. So yesterday's candle was rather interesting. Well, you got another interesting one with bigger volume. Keep an eye on it. Seems to be the better than JP Morgan holding up. Goldman Sachs. Ooh. Keep an eye on this one. Not sure about it. Carry. I mean, it looks like it's chopping. I mean, all these banks feel like they should come down. Look at that 100-day. Reggie. Another one. I guess I should probably draw those lines, but who cares? For now, XBI. Again, we like this one for like just watching. Again, it's a risk-on name. Seems to be stuck, right? Range lows. Jets seem to be holding up. Again, surprisingly, they're not making the playoffs, but they seem to be holding up pretty well. Again, I think people who are shorting up here, it makes sense with defined risk. I mean, you short it, and we said this. If you see a 26 handle on it, you probably short it. Well, keep an eye on it. Housing has not been holding up well. Talked about that. You're welcome. I mean, now you got a new lows chopping. We'll see what happens here. Solar, we talked about this holding up if oil held up. Not to necessarily say that I would go out and short them, but again, I think they're dog poo. We talked about watching the levels, 100-day sedge, ENPH, got a nice bounce, got a multi-day range. First Solar seems to be hitting this, like, I don't know, this 100, 200-day cross at some point, if I had to guess. Again, I wouldn't short Solar. I just would watch it. I just don't trust it long term. But again, if oil and gas are leading up, you might see some pops. Here you go. Talked about corporate debt. You got to be high out of your mind. USO, chopping around, holding up pretty well. UNG, I hate this freaking product. I tell you guys all the time, trade the KOD, short it, puts, whatever. I mean, again, puts are pretty expensive, but selling calls, selling premium. Talked about shorting up here, taking its profits, now taking the rest and just seeing what happens. Hope it bounces back up at least into the 50s and you can trade around it. XOP, going fast, right? Zing, zing, bow. Talked about it, nice bounce from the range lows. Don't be surprised if it takes a little siesta here. Not saying necessarily short it, but watch those levels, right? CVE, we talked about. The same should be doing better coming off the lows. We talked about the gasoline names. They are oversold, got the bounce. They don't really look that good. And again, if gasoline names aren't leading up, I typically don't trust the moves to sustain. BP, speaking of, we talked about this one. Again, Jay Solstice with the calls, talking about how there's large call buyers and then a bunch of call buyers for March buying the 40s. Robes. Whoa, Nelly, again, if you got in on this trade, fuck yeah. Again, I'd love to see a retest if you get it, but it's not feeling like it's going to happen. Congrats either way. ExxonMobil seems to be holding around this 109, 110. I don't like how it's really acting. Occidental, this one got the oversold bounce as we talked about. The 100-day now. Watch the reference. Again, could it go higher? Again, long term probably will. Near term, that's the crapshoot. That's what people have to figure out. EQT range highs, right? Talk about these are big, choppy, sloppy ranges. Keep an eye on it. Last but not least, Flex LNG, because I think we'll be natural gas exporters. Keep an eye on it. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Love you guys. Appreciate the love, support, generous donations. You guys are awesome. I'm a biggest fan as y'all have, maybe some of y'all have me. Probably not as me. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Because again, I do this out of the goodness of wanting to help folks, and it just feels good. And again, if you learn to trade like this and you have this right mentality, you're going to be successful. It's just, you got to learn how to manage your emotions. So let me know how I can help. If you have any real estate needs, holler at your boy. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.